Welcome back to Best Gear Reviewers. Today we're going to be reviewing what we feel are the top 3 stretch machines available on the market today. Now, we have the Precor 240i on your far right, and this is really known for durability. In the center, we have the Nitrofit Limber Pro. This is known for adjustability. And then on the far left, we have the Sunny Health and Fitness Stretch Trainer, and this is known for affordability. Stay with us as we go over all the features of each one of these machines. What sets them apart? How do they compare? What kind of size, stability do they offer? So size is very important to look at when you're checking out these machines, especially for the space you're going to put them in. But also, you really want to consider stability due to length and width, as well as weight. And comparing the 3 of these machines, they're all a bit different. The Precor is going to be the heaviest of the group. It's got a really wide front, it's got a nice length to it, and it's extremely stable. It is really built to handle people every day, all day, and the build quality on it is nothing more than extremely sturdy. Then you get to the Nitrofit Limber Pro, where you can see that they executed some cost savings to get the price down, but where they did do some pretty cool stuff is creating this sliding seat function, which what it does is it opens up that area between the knee pad and the front, which we call the cockpit, and allows that whole area to be adjustable to whatever size person is going to be using the machine. This is the only one that does this, and we love that feature about it. Then you get down to the Sunny Health and Fitness, which again, they're implementing cost savings to get it to the price that they have it. The machine is very compact. It is ultra lightweight and very narrow, most likely to fit it in the box, and again, for cost savings. But it's got a major design flaw here. You see how the front of the machine has basically no distance between the knee pad and that front, I don't even know what you want to call it. We'll just call it the front bar on the front of the machine that holds the handlebars. That piece right there gets in the way. We did not like using it because of it. It was very difficult to transition into some of the exercises where you're required to bring your legs up and around. And unless you were really leaning back and pushing yourself away from the handles and then trying to get your feet up in there without hitting those handles was difficult. Whereas if you look at the Precor and you look at the Nitrofit, they have a front curvature to them that opens up that cockpit space and really allows the person using the machine to enter and exit and perform and execute those exercises very comfortably and very smoothly. Stability is an important factor to compare when you're looking for one of these stretch machines. If you've used the Precor, you know that the thing is built like a tank. It feels really, really solid, and getting in and out of it from side to side is a breeze. You'll never really move the thing over, you'll never tip it over. Moving down the ranks, getting into the Nitrofit, it's also very wide and very robust. With the calf stretch board on, it weighs pretty much as the Precor does, and that adds a lot of stability. But even with it off, the tip over factor is minimal, meaning it's really hard to get that thing to go sideways or topple over with your body weight. But then when you get into the Sunny Health and Fitness, you really feel why the machine is priced the way it does. It's so lightweight due to materials and size making it smaller and less stable. Getting in and out of that, Aaron almost fell over. It really just comes down to a factor of it just not being engineered that well. It is the bare bones basic introductory into the stretching, and you can tell that by its weight and size. Let's compare the padding on these machines. It's one of the most important parts outside of the cockpit because that's what you're sitting on, that's what you're stretching on, and that's where your body goes. Now, starting with the Precor, it's ample size, really built to accommodate people of almost any size, and it's extremely durable. It's made out of this molded urethane that will really last a long time unless you were to take out a weapon of sorts and start chewing away at it. It will hold up, but it's probably more than you need for your home. The Nitrofit and the Sunny machines use the more traditional method of kind of like a PU leatherette type thing wrapping around foam. And they're good and they're durable enough, but there are differences in the way that they're padded. The Nitrofit has significantly more padding in it, and the knee pad is actually bigger than the Precor's. Then we're going to get down to the Sunny, which hard to see unless you're actually showing these things compared to each other, but we took the seat back off of the Sunny and put it into both of these other machines, and it is really tiny. And you know, when this is something that your behind is supposed to sit on, because that's where it goes on these stretch machines, you don't have a lot of room for error. If you don't hit it dead on and line it up on your tailbone, you're probably going to miss it, and if you miss it, the machine does not weigh a lot, so there's a good chance you're taking it down with you. So we put together a little tap test to give you an idea of the foam in the cushions, the density, and how well they basically padded the edge of this knee pad area, which will go into the back of your leg during some of your stretches. Take a listen. You can hear a bit of wood, nice and padded. The most dampened, the most padded. All three of these machines do feature an exercise placard. It essentially is an illustration and a description of each exercise that can be done on the machine. The one on the Sunny Health and Fitness is very basic. It's just a sticker and it's difficult to read. The one on the Nitrofit is quite nice, and we love that it includes this removable media shelf that allows you to place your phone on there. And lastly, there is the one on the Precor, which is large and easy to read. To better demonstrate cockpit size and ergonomics of these machines, as well as kind of their durability, we're going to have an average size male, Aaron, who's about 5'11", size 11 shoe, and about 170 pounds. He's in good shape. Get in and demonstrate some of these positions. Now, he'll start with the Precor, and what you can see is that he gets in with plenty of room. The cockpit allows for his legs to slide in and him to get back into a comfortable back stretch position. Then he'll transition into bringing one leg up over the other knee to get into a glute stretch. Notice that his feet have room to navigate through the cockpit area without touching the handlebars or hitting any obstruction. The Precor machine is really solid, however, it is a bit dated. It's still using the fixed seat design, which means that you can't really change the area of the cockpit. Now, although it is ample, you see Aaron, who again is our average size male, actually hit his foot on the handlebars trying to do the hamstring position, which is a pretty common position to be doing on these machines. Then we did some stretches on the Nitrofit Limber Pro, actually with its setting to its shortest setting, meant for somebody much smaller than Aaron. We had him do a couple test runs on it and were surprised that there were very few restrictions to using the machine even at a setting for somebody that was that much shorter than him. We then took the user manual settings and slid the seat to the recommended settings, and Aaron went through a couple different stretch positions. The first being the glute stretch, where you can see in no way was there any obstruction to him getting his feet comfortably over his other knee and out, as well as getting into the hamstring position. There was still several inches before his toe would even intersect with the handlebars. And last was the Sunny Health and Fitness stretch machine. This one was a bit of a struggle for us, actually a lot of a struggle, because we knew how small the machine was as well as how cramped it would be in the cockpit area because of that front support bar. We mentioned it earlier, and you'll see it more here now when Aaron does these stretches. As he gets into the basic back position, it worked well, however, it just felt a little cramped for somebody who is 5'11". I'm sure this would be fine for somebody who's a bit shorter, however, the rest of the positions may not be. Here's the problem. That bar gets really in the way. When you do those glute stretches and you get one leg up over the other, it wouldn't matter who you are. Your legs with your shoe length and everything would probably still hit that middle bar. And depending on how flexible you are, you still have to angle your leg up and kind of articulate your hip and just the perfect little hole to get it through. And if you thought that was hard, getting it out is even harder. Then we get into the hamstring stretch, which is very similar in design as the other two machines utilize, which is basically putting the back of your hamstring on the back of the knee pad. However, they've added a pretty cool feature with the foam padding pieces that allow you to rest your ankle up on the back. Now, in theory, this is a great concept. In execution, Because the machine is also so small and compacted, the handlebars angle down and they hit those foam pieces. They're only like 5 inches of separation. So you'll see that when Aaron tried to get in and out of that, his feet basically got caught in between the handles and the foam pieces. Again, getting in was difficult, getting out was even harder. Only 2 of these machines actually have calf stretching listed on their informational placards. It's the Nitrofit and the Sunny Health and Fitness, and they do these very differently. The better of the 2 is definitely the Nitrofit because it's got an adjustable calf stretch board and its own set of handlebars that you're supposed to hold while you're doing these stretches. That also enables you to put both calves up on the calf stretch board and balance and hold those handles with little to no effort. But when you go over to the back of the Sunny Health and Fitness machine, it's basically the back leg of the machine, and they're asking you to use the seat backing of the machine as basically your balance during these stretches. Now, it is very slick, and if you're wearing socks, I'd be careful. Definitely wear shoes while you're doing this stretch, and try not to slip. If you fall, you're falling into a seat back that is intended to pivot backwards for the other stretches that the machine was built for. And if you do that and you fall into it, you're going to be falling down with that machine. So who's our overall winner? We chose it before and we're going to choose it again, and it's for good reason. It's the Nitrofit. It really does appeal to the broadest audience. It does everything well. It adds features that other machines don't have, like the calf stretch station. And it's adjustable. We know that we can recommend it to somebody of just about any size, and they're not going to complain that it's too big or too small for them. We did find issues with the Sunny, and that's just because it weighs almost half what the other machines do. It's quite narrow, and in multiple instances we almost tipped it over. This presents kind of a hazard. We also really didn't like how small the cockpit was, and that they have a bar going down the middle that really required you to be flexible before you used a machine that makes you flexible. And then of course we love the Precor. It's a great machine, and it does what it's intended to do. It does have some limitations because it's kind of dated and it hasn't been updated in a really long time. But there's no question it is the most durable machine on the market, and it's backed by a company that has been known for decades.